Okay, here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of your favorite podcast. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Can't hear the whoa, whoa, whoa. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast for the third or fourth time. My good friend, one of my best friends in the whole wide world, Mr. Ian Edwards. Well, welcome back, Ian. Thank you. Ian's doing me a solid. I had some technical difficulties, and and then also I was supposed to have you on a week ago, and we missed the call. I don't know what's going on, but here we are right now. Happy July 4th weekend. And how was it for you? How you doing?
It was a weird one, because of all just the craziness of the times.
Yeah, I agree.
And you're seeing a lot of memes and posts against the celebration of the day.
Yeah,
it's like the lamest birthday ever, for a country and then because of COVID. Everybody, I spoke to a friend and I spoke to Dean and he said he was out that day and there was nobody on the street.
Yeah.
So then, but I ended up, after taking a long time to just get out the house, I ended up going to a friend's apartment rooftop in West Hollywood. And that was cool. Everybody in the building, not everybody, but a bunch of people in the building went up there. There's a pool, there's a jacuzzi, and everybody was in their separate groups. And they shared the grill, they played music, and it was late evening, and you could see all of everywhere from Wilshire all the way down to several of the beaches. You had a view of LA and just a beautiful display of illegal fireworks.
Would you have, but I noticed, would it have been a good party in regular circumstances? If you would have gone to this party and there was no COVID going on, would you have been this was the bomb 4th of July party?
You're trying to say in airplane food terms, because airplane food first class is good when you're on a plane and they serve you first class airplane food. You're oh, this is delicious.
Gotcha.
But if you took a girl on a date and the restaurant you took her to was serving her first class airplane food, she'd spit it in your face. Ugh.
Well put.
So you're asking me, well, I just know it was a really good accidental good time, because it's not like he invited me to a party. Him and two friends were on the roof, and then people from their other apartments, them and their two friends were on the roof, and then another people and their two friends were on the roof. And some of them were girls, and some of them were guys, some of them were in bikinis, some were in a hot tub, some were in the pool. Then music was playing. So it seemed like somebody planned a party, but it's people had nowhere to go in the building. So I was let me just go on the roof.
Right.
And then everybody felt like people who could just get along and hang. I wore my mask and, talked to people. Ran into people I didn't expect to run into, and just chill.
Well, that's good. So you're saying it would have been a whack party if...
yeah. Airplane food.
It's funny. I was talking to, David Lucas, and he was telling me how he went down to the American Comedy Club, and he was like, oh, man, it's great. The people are starving for entertainment. And that just made me think, I was like, oh, so a lot of people who aren't that funny when comedy starts up are going to think they really funny, because the crowds are going to be like, oh, so there's no expectation of where we were when this happened. I think comedy was at a high level. I think that, we were, because of social things happening, it really changed the approach of comedy. But now we've been set back. So now just any old thing, people are going to be like, oh, comedy, it's so good to make me laugh. And then, so it's going to, we got set back 5 years again. I'm not necessarily talking about David. I'm just saying in general, when people come back to do comedy.
I'm glad you cleared that up, because it sounded like you're talking about David.
No, I'm not. I'm not talking about David.
But everybody's going to be rusty. Comics are going to be rusty. Audiences are going to be rusty. like there's going to be a universal rustiness. Like when people like fully go back to work, they're going to be rusty. So when they come to a comedy club, I think everybody's standard is just going to be lower all over the world. Like right now, European soccer started back up. I'm watching games without a crowd, no audience. They're usually like 40 to 60,000 people in packed stadiums singing and chanting as the game goes on. I'm just watching players yell at each other right now.
Yeah,
but
it's different, huh?
So much. It's different, but I miss it so much. I'm not complaining.
Right.
You know, my team is doing good, so I don't care.
I'm waiting for the NBA to come back for that. I wonder how that's going to be. Like, are they going to hear people? Like, it's almost a completely different experience. It's almost like watching like some dudes play at a park, and you watching the smack talk and all. It might be a whole other level of gameplay and like experience for as a viewing person, right? As a viewer, as a fan.
All you're going to hear is like sneakers, squeaking.
I know.
Echoes.
You know, I want to
whatever the sound sneakers make.
I want to go back to something that you were said about the July 4th and how, because I saw something on Instagram where somebody was like, you know, fuck this holiday. We should be worried about something else, you know, like Breonna Taylor keeps coming up, you know, and something that's been bothering me is that I think people are more about the noise than they are about the cause itself. And once the noise starts to go away, you know, people don't look at these things in the same way that they did when it was like mob mentality. And it's a shame because there's still a lot of work to be done since the George Floyd killing and everything that has happened up to this point right now. Do you get a sense that people, just to be put it bluntly, don't care about it as much as they did, say, a month ago?
There's less action, but the people are still protesting. There's still protests. And, you know, like, you know, one thing that's keeping it alive, here's a funny bad thing. A funny bad thing that's keeping the George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter movement going. And I want to remind me to discuss something about Black Lives Matter.
Got you.
But something that's keeping the movement going is like, you know, occasionally I repost they haven't arrested the killers of Breonna Taylor.
Right.
So I occasionally post that, and other people do too. But every time you like dozing off at the wheel, you know, and you wake up to the video of the cops murdering someone else. And it doesn't have to be like a new murder. It's just like the McLean murder. They're digging up these videos from like 2018, 2000, just to like spike up the movement. Like,
don't forget, this was happening.
They did it again, not today, but last year around this time, they did it again. And then everybody's like, all right, so we got to get these people. So there's like so many tapes out there. It's like all these murder sex tapes are dropping.
Yeah.
To like spike up the movement back up.
I saw Andrew Schultz had this really funny video on his Instagram. It's like you could tell, you know, it was like a scripted thing that it was well done, you know, just the things he was.
He's good. I'm jealous. I'm so mad at him.
Me too. Because he was hitting some points that made me go, damn, good job. Like just the way he did it. It wasn't just some free flowing talk. It was like he was hitting points like a news program, you know. And one of the things he was talking about in that was about like, you know, hey, like all the white celebrities and stuff. It's like, dude, it's enough. You're not really helping for your brownie points you're trying to get, you know. And like I remember I seen a video of like a bunch of white people going, "We renounce our white privilege," you know, and which is literally the most white privilege thing you could possibly do is to give up your white privilege.
Right.
You know, but I liken it to like I don't go ahead.
You can say that as much as you want, but you just saying it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But this is my point about it, and my analogy for it is like I was watching the Jeffrey Epstein documentary. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit was wild, man. That's wild. Just to know that he was filming, like he had cameras and all and he might have some, like, for sure he was murdered by people with power and influence because they probably found the tapes, burned that. They probably tortured him in jail. Where are the tapes? They got the tapes, and they got rid of his ass. But anyways, in the documentary, there was a guy that worked at the island, you know, and they show him a lot because he's like, well, I didn't know what was going on. And then he says, once I figured out what was going on and I saw this and I quit, He says, I quit. And in my mind, I go, so fucking what? You quit. Like, you quitting did nothing to help those girls. Like, you quitting, because the real power is people above that guy's pay grade. That's how I feel about white celebrities and all these white people who are like, I renounce my white privilege. Who cares? The white people that are most important are the ones that make the real decisions. People in the government, people that own corporations. I need Warren Buffett to come out and be like, Black Lives Matter. I need, the guy, the Amazon guy who now is the richest guy in the world. I need him to give $1 billion to the Black Lives Matter. I just think that the people that really, these people that are doing all this stuff for social media credit and, they feel pressured. I don't care what they have to say. Thank you for saying it. Thank you for being a part of the movement. But it's not the thing that's going to help make any change. The change has to come from, like I say, the people that really have power and influence. And I don't hear those people saying shit.
I mean, I don't believe it. Like, saying that you renounce your white privilege is a waste of white privilege.
Yeah.
Use the white privilege to help people of color gain an equal amount of civility. So don't give something up or renounce it. You can admit it and accept it. And then, how can we use this? Because there's people who are going to listen to us that it is kind of self-serving to say, I renounce. You at least think about it. Don't say, I renounce. All right, I'm going to use my white privilege. I obviously have this to do better for all mankind. We all have privileges. We live in America. So we can make a living. I'm not going to renounce the money I make or you, but if you want to use some of the money you make to send it to less fortunate people to help them out, that's what you do. That's what they have those commercials for. So don't, in this case, renounce anything. Vow to use it for, embrace it.
Yeah.
And then vow to use it to help the betterment of all mankind.
And I think preaching to the choir doesn't help either. I just don't think that it's just like the award shows when they're they're up there and they're bashing Trump and they're saying all this stuff as if the 65 million people that voted for Trump are watching this program now. They're not. They turned it off the moment you started this, and they're like, well, I guess I'm not going to see my favorite movie win, so let me go watch something else. I'll flip over to Fox News. So it's like you're not helping by preaching to the choir. So I don't know. I just sometimes, and I don't want to think the worst of people. I think that there are a lot of people who are non-minorities, just, white people and people that are not black, that who are now going, oh man, this actually is worse than I thought. And they don't know what to say and they don't know what to do. They don't know how to react. And the Twitter mob, the social media mob, kind of, it's like a tornado that's forcing people to move in a direction that they don't want to move. But I do feel like a lot of people have good intentions. It's just, I wish that these things were making some real change,
There are some changes being made. Come on, now we got the Black National Anthem, which nobody asked for to be played at NFL games. So come on, Eric. Don't, come on, we got this anthem that is not what we asked for. We asked for the ending of police brutality.
Yeah.
But hey, niggas, here's a song. So
yeah. I know.
But I thought it wasn't maybe on the positive side, maybe playing it during each game might get some people attention that it normally might not. But still, we still want what we want, which is what everybody has a right to.
Yeah. Yeah. Just treat people better is what we really just want, but it's like, I don't know, man. I think that the only thing that moves the needle in this country is money. And, if we really want to make a difference, it's like if you want McDonald's Corporation to say, do something positive, the way to do that is if we convinced everyone in America to go, don't eat McDonald's for a week and see what happens. Once it starts affecting the bottom line, that's when things change in this country. It's never about social issues. Man, if you go back to Jackie Robinson getting into baseball, he didn't get into baseball because they were trying to help black people. They wanted the black dollars. They saw the Negro Leagues succeeding. They were like, well, how can we get all those people spending money to come over here? Well, let's grab the players who are obviously better, faster, stronger, better athletes. I mean, and then we have more money in our pockets. So like, it's like Donald Sterling, he's been racist. He's done racist things and prejudiced things toward with his places he owned, these weird rental practices. He was accused of that and sued, and he's been found guilty of that for the last 30 years. The moment Pepsi, Coke, and all these people were like, yeah, we're going to pull out of the Staples Center because of this guy, that's when the NBA was like, whoa. Don't worry, we're going to take care of this. So I think that that's where we need this movement to move towards, is to use our financial resources or use our buying power to make a difference.
Well,
looting and burning down one store is not going to make a difference. If all these people peaceful protesting, if they said we're not going to shop at Sephora, that'll make a difference.
Yeah. We need like people with great minds to organize a protest in a way that it's not necessarily marching anymore, or people who are down for the cause putting themselves at risk of COVID. We need like a plan, like really thought out plan. And some of that plan is happening. Like I went to Leimert Park, which is a black neighborhood in Los Angeles the other day, and they have like an arts district, and they have restaurants, black owned, and bookstores. And I took a friend of mine, and she's white. She wanted to go buy something black from the black bookstores. Like online, people have been like pointing out black businesses.
Right.
And they had a social distancing line outside the store. It was mostly at that point that I was there, white people on the line.
Yeah.
Like lining up to buy books from that black store. So that is something that was suggested during the peak of what's happened over the last few months, where a lot of black owned businesses were suggested where people could buy, and I guess people are doing that. So because when that happens, because me and you watched the same video of the guy who said you do it and you keep doing it until stores and corporations lose a lot of money, and then in turn to get the minority and the black customer back will donate money to the cause. But the cause has to come up with a plan to where we can and use social media more instead of like it's like there's ways to protest. Like here's some stores you can all buy. Like come up with a list of stores, and any one of us could do it. Here's a list of stores where everything that people get from Amazon or just anywhere else. Here's some black stores where you can get it from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then so people can just pass the link around and and get stuff accomplished.
I think that's a small thing. I really do think that's a small thing in the grand scheme of
money.
No, I know, but I'm talking about this. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Right now, FedEx, the company FedEx, the CEO of FedEx, I believe he owns 10% of the Washington Redskins. And there's a movement now that's getting a lot of traction now because FedEx and a couple of other major corporations are telling Dan Snyder, the owner of the Washington Redskins, that you need to change the name. It's so that's power. Like that's what I'm saying is like how can
that mean everything that's happened since the day of George Floyd's murder was broadcast to our phones is working. Like they yes. But I feel like I agree with you, but I feel like the noise is now lower. So now you can hear someone yelling, but when the yelling stops, and that's to me is the mob mentality. When that stops, what's left? Because there's an attitude of like when people first heard about, say, Breonna Taylor, they'd be like, oh man, this is ridiculous. I can't believe that this happened. And then it's like, oh my God.
I think people are getting to the point now where they're going to see those posts now and be like, this still. Oh, you really? I just think that that's a natural thing about how people don't care about it. Because you know how people are this way. I'll tell you how I know people are this way. These are because of how they deal with COVID. Wearing a mask is not for you. Wearing a mask is for everyone else. And these people that are going, wearing a mask is stupid. I don't want to wear a mask. Only these type of people are dying. That sort of selfish attitude is how people also feel about when it's time to make change, protesting, when you see some injustice. At first it's like, okay, and then now what? And I just feel like it's waning off, and how do we spark the fire again or keep it sustained where we can really make a difference?
Because some police are going to do some dumb shit, and then we're going to get new videos. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can count on that. But, just to give you hope, there are things that are changing, but it's not all the things that we want, but some things are changing. Like, listen, there's been so many murders. I can't remember the kid's name, the violinist kid that was killed by a chokehold and injected with ketamine in Aurora, Colorado. His last name is McLean. Why can't I remember his first name? But, things are changing where, there's a new interim chief of police in Aurora, Colorado, where he was murdered. And this is what she did. So there was some cops went to the visual site, right, of where, there's a visual for him. And they took a picture of one cop choking another cop. And they emailed it to the cops involved in the incident to cheer them up. Like they were laughing as one choked the other. There's 3 cops. And it actually happened a few months after the guy was killed, right? And she just got the job, and this one cop knew about the picture, and he spoke to the sergeant. And the sergeant came to her. Instead of the sergeant brushing it under the rug and getting this guy in trouble, this officer in trouble, he actually brought it to the new interim police chief. And then she has fired everybody involved. Everybody in the photo, that's 3 cops, and one cop they showed it to, he was like, ha ha. She fired him for laughing. And then she held a press conference. She explained it. So listen, man, there are people who want to change things. It's going to be for the good cops out there. Mm-hmm. I want to give you props because you're up against some shit that's tougher than racism. And it's tough that, hey, you get blanketed with like all cops are bad, but that's how black people have to live too.
Yeah, I know. That's why I don't feel sorry for her, because I totally get it. So they just say in the same way. It's like
we have that in common.
Yeah.
But keep up the fight. We're with you. Thanks for the interim. Her name is Vanessa. I forgot her last name. The interim police chief in Aurora, Colorado, for stepping up and firing cops and putting yourself in the line of fire against other cops. And we're with you, and keep, and every good cop out there, man, just keep doing what you do.
Well, part of this,
because bad cops are ruining the job and making it harder for you.
Well, part of it to me is like, that sounds like somebody that's worried about optics too, along with trying to do the right thing. But just it's the part that
I watched her press conference. Uh-huh. She didn't seem like an optics person.
No. I'm saying, but this is optics doing what she did. Like right. At a certain point, I would think that the mayors, governors, police chiefs, somebody along the chain of command, people who are really in charge, are going like, "Yo, we're getting a lot of bad press because of this behavior. Stop this." Like this has nothing to do with racism, actually. Like what I'm saying is like this person saying that could still be racist. They could be like, "I know you don't like black people. Okay, guys?" He could be talking to the cops. "I know some of y'all don't like black people, and I get it. But, yo, stop killing them on camera because we're getting a bad rap." Like, even that conversation, I feel like, has never been said, because that guy that killed George Floyd, man, the blatant disregard for, he saw he was being filmed. He's looking at people film him. And the thought in his head that I'm still going to get away with this is the chilling part that goes above his head. It's above him. It's he's done so many things and just gotten away with it that he goes, well, I could probably get away with this too. And God knows what else he's gotten away with.
Yeah, there's no accountability. And
no accountability. That's what I'm saying. There's no accountability. So we do need people like this police chief you're talking about to be like, hey, let's make ourselves accountable. So let me just finish. So when the bad ones do something, we now have a precedent that, hey, that's just a bad one, and we've taken care of it in the past. You know?
I just don't think you can discredit like a positive action. Like,
I'm not discrediting it.
We're not just accepting this positive action as a total revamp of the police. We're acknowledging this moment of honesty,
right,
and self-policing, and we still want more of that. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
I know, some cops have been, crying like shit has been rough, but it's going to continue to be rough until it's good for everybody, including you, because we want to live a good, free, civil life.
Just and
right.
Yeah.
And shit, if we're all together in this, like if the people believe in the police, they'll help the police. They'll make the police jobs easier.
Yeah.
Because if you have like just a few knuckleheads messing stuff up, if we see you doing good, this goodwill goes a long way.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I always make reference to the movie American Gangster. Did you remember American Gangster with Russell Crowe and Denzel Washington? There's a great scene in that movie where Denzel's caught. He's in the jail. He's having a powwow with Russell Crowe, and Denzel's trying to buy him, and the guy who won't be bought. And he's like, what do you want? I'll turn on everybody. I'll give you all the mafia. I'll give you everybody. But Russell Crowe is like, he wanted the cops. He wanted the cops because he wanted to clean it up. He knew he needed to clean house of all the bad ones, and it was going to be a rough going, but he knew after that they could go in a better direction. And I think that we're at that crossroads right now where, it's a brotherhood. It's a brotherhood. I totally get it. They are in a tough position, and we should acknowledge that too. Like, it's so easy for somebody to be like, you should do the right thing all the time. Yeah, but when this is your job, your pension, your family, you got to pay bills, and you're a part of this this family too, this work family who is life and death. I understand why some people, they see no evil, hear no evil, say no evil. It's not right, but you have to understand. You have to have some empathy for the situation that the good cops are in. Yeah,
but I've also, there's a video that came out like a year or two ago, and it was black cops in New York City, at a news network, telling the people on news, we are New York City black cops. We're told to enforce quotas and in minority broke neighborhoods. And one of them even recorded the chief telling him to do that. And they knew by doing this, they were going to be in the crosshairs of all the cops. And it's like, so if they can do it, hey man, everybody's got to step up, man.
But you know what you need? But here's the thing. This is what we need. This is what I'm saying what we need.
Trying to make this world a better place.
No, I know what you're saying. But those black cops doing that, that's not the people we need to do that. That's a start, and I'm glad that they did that. What we need is whoever's right next to that chief to be like, those are the people we need. It's like it's tough when it's tough because it's easy to brush these people off. I mean, people of power and influence, when we start reaching them and changing their minds and making them speak out and making them do the right thing, then we're really going to see some change. And I hope that we keep putting the pressure on from the bottom till we can enforce that, till we can make positive change that way, if you understand what I mean.
Erik, but we have the power and influence. We're the people. There's more of us.
I agree. I
just,
totally agree.
That's why we need a plan, somebody reputable to run it, so that we can all easily, you know how you have apps on your phone and your planner, right?
Right.
Or you have your banking app and it's like, oh, all I got to do is every month do this, slide this over here, slide this over here. Everything runs on automatic pilot. We need a plan like that with the force of over 100 million people, like electing the people who will make the right decisions for us. Because we need people to feeding their families, that they won't be able to feed their families unless they do the right thing. You know what I mean? So we don't need a powerful, like, listen, there's more of us. There was only a few times probably in our history when we mobilized.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
That's my whole point.
That's what we don't even need like if there's an up and coming person and they have the vote of the people, then what is the person who's entrenched and knows all the people going to do? Yeah, they're going to have to move out the way. Martin Luther King didn't really know a lot of people. He just started his movement,
Probably he did.
Malcolm X didn't know a lot of people.
What you hear, he didn't even want to.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. What do? I got like 5% on my battery on this phone. So I don't want to cut off on you. It just popped up and said that.
Oh, well, we could just keep going till it cuts off. You can't plug it in?
Let me see. Hold on.
All right, cool. And we are back. We had a technical change. We moved from Duo. Now we on Zoom.
Very professional, man. Very professional.
Hey, I already had some technical difficulties in the first place, but here we back are with Ian, and just to pick up where we were. Actually, I could just play. It don't even matter. I don't even know where we were, but I do remember that you had a point you wanted to make about Black Lives Matter.
We just need like some brains in the organization. I'm not saying there's no brains in it now, but just like any like technical platform, we just need some brains to organize, to strategize, and come up with a plan so that maybe we don't even need to protest. Like we could just take all our resistance online and focus it on the things online in a way so everybody can participate who wants to participate, so that people can feel the force of the numbers of people who want to do the right thing and make life great for everybody, and also attract people who can't go outside and march, who don't understand it, to read more about it online. And like, why are we still, this is not the 60s, why are we still protesting in the streets?
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just like hookers. Like what are hookers doing on the street when you got the internet? It just seems.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or like graffiti. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you really, like, why are you writing on, like, you think like there's no one can see that. No one cares about that. There's other larger platforms.
We should like take the protests into the future. There's got to be an online way to protest and to on all the platforms maybe, and send messages and just, send like mass emails to the cops and the DAs and to all the people who need to be told that we on their ass.
Yeah. Like that lady who killed her husband on Tiger King. You know what I mean? Like we need to put her in charge of Black Lives Matter.
Oh yeah, she's a great organizer.
Yeah, she gets shit done.
Yeah, she gets shit done. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I say, I don't know. I'm a little bit more pessimistic right now, just because I feel like the movement is losing steam with the immediate online presence. It's like now people are back to like, promoting their OnlyFans, and people are back to, it's like, it's not.
That'd be dope if somebody like at the end of, after they strip naked on OnlyFans or masturbate, or they just do it with a Black Lives Matter banner in the background, just to show solidarity. So even while you're paying to watch some girl nude, she's still like reminding you Black Lives Matter.
I saw some cops defamed a Black Lives Matter sign. It's like when you see that kind of stuff. I mean, look, there's still people that don't believe that there's this hatred for black people or hatred for any kind of movement like this. There's still people that think that, well, that's not. Is it really like that? But then what is great is when we catch people on video. So they caught this like a retired cop, or he's a current cop. I don't know who he was, but he was slashing the Black Lives Matter sign, and they caught him on video. It's like three guys doing that, just white guys. You just go, wow, really? It's like the best thing to happen right now is the videotapes. I mean, you go back to like Rodney King and like no phones, no nothing, just somebody magically just happened to be at the right place at the right time with an old school video camera and caught that horrific thing. And those cops, by the way, got off.
Surprise.
So cut to now. If this dude that killed George Floyd is acquitted,
it's impossible. He won't be.
You say that.
No, because just common sense is like every cop all over the nation has, whether they're on the right or the left, has agreed that this was a bad thing. And they are not trying to even Trump didn't defend this cop. Normally people try to and they saw what happened when people protested and looted. Like every company is like, every corporation, every individual is like, you have to, this guy is not worth having a phony trial. You know what I mean?
You know what? You say that, but I know exactly what you're saying. So to go back to our further point is like, money makes a difference. And this might be an example where it finally is more important than people's, built-in racist feelings. Yeah.
It's like, we can't let this, like even today I saw this video of this husband and his wife. They were white and they were painting the Black Lives Only sign in the street. They were painting it over in black, right? And the guy was yelling, racism doesn't exist. And they're like, what about George Floyd? Well, in that case, that was wrong. Even that guy and his wife, as they were arguing. But because the black guy was like, the white guy was like, black people need to stop resisting arrest. And the guy's like, yeah, like George Floyd. And he's like, well, that was different. He wasn't resisting arrest. That incident, like as his wife paints over Black Lives Matter in black to like erase it.
I know. It's really funny how similar it is to how people feel about wearing masks for the COVID. Like the other day I got into I didn't get into a thing. It just was bad timing. No, you're fine, dude. Stop moving it. It's perfect. Yeah, don't worry about it. So I tweeted out the other day that, am I a bad person that I feel satisfied when people who downplay wearing masks and COVID get it, not knowing that Brendan Shaw just tested positive, and he's one of these kind of people that
has been blowing it off.
Yeah, has been blowing it off. So then, like, I got all these retweets, and people kept tagging him, and I was like, what the fuck's going on? So I had to hit him up, like, yo, bro, this wasn't directed at you, but, it's bad timing, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's very similar, like what you're saying about like the people, racist deniers,
right?
There are bad cops deniers. They're just like, and that's how I feel about the fucking coronavirus. I don't want anybody to die or anything like that, but man, these people that are outwardly like, we don't want to wear masks and all this stuff, and then they get sick, you just kind of go, all right, well, what the fuck do you think was going to happen, bro?
Well, just going back to Black Lives Matter before Corona, like, here's one thing Black Lives Matter needs to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a mission statement on their site that is disputable. And the term Black Lives Matter is disputable. So when somebody says, when a black person or a person in support of Black Lives Matter says Black Lives Matter, and then they say all lives matter, like that's a statement where Black Lives Matter is a statement where somebody can form a retort. Like we should say that Black Lives Matter means a group against racism. It's against racism.
Or just add the word "to" on it,
So, or two, yeah.
Yeah, that's all that's missing. It's implied.
Yes, yeah.
It's implied, but people don't say it. It's just Black Lives Matter too. That's all. That's all that. That's all that it really means.
So then you can't say all lives matter. That or change the definition to like, we're against racism.
But the people that brand these things, they do a terrible job. It's like defund the police. It's such a terrible statement. Like it doesn't really encapsulate what they're really trying to say, what the whole point of it is. It makes people sound like oh, we're gonna there's gonna be no police, and it's like that's not what it is. And so but then it's like that kind of stuff catches fire on the internet. It's just like Me Too. It was the same kind of thing. Somebody said that, and then it was like, oh, we'll use that. Right, that's our hashtag. We're going to use it. Let's move on with it. I think that's what happened with Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, it needs to be more thought out. So, Black Lives Matter too would actually be perfect. Like, I don't even know the response you could come up with to that. That doesn't make you sound racist.
Right.
You need to come up with a phrase where if somebody's against it, they sound more racist than if they say all lives matter. It's just beyond the shadow of it. And that's why I was like, Black Lives Matter too, like you said, or just say we're against racism to Black people. And if you dispute that, there's no way you can't look racist. So you can't dispute it unless you're just saying, fuck it, I'm racist, which is fine. That's what we want to know.
Because, dude, I got this idiot on Instagram. I'm not even going to say his name or anything. Just some idiot who he's white, and he keeps sending me like the sort of like all lives matter sentiment type stuff. He's the kind of guy that sends you messages like, like, why are you quiet about this Black person that got killed by Black people? Or why aren't you talking about, the incarceration rate? Why aren't you talking? It's like that kind of white person that brings up those kind of facts in like, which to me is like, those things are separate. And it's something we can also talk about, but racism towards Black people is still real, but let me just finish one thing. Like the thing about the cops, like when I hear people say George Floyd was a criminal, my response to that is, so that's their job. Like the cops' job is to deal with criminals and to deal with dangerous situations. And that's what they're trained to deal with. So that's why we have them. They're not dealing with nuns and whatever. It's not Boy Scouts that they're going to arrest. If they're going to arrest in a dangerous situation, we hope that they're going to do it justly. They're going to use their training to de-escalate. That they're not going to try to like do their own justice. They're not the judge and jury. That's their fucking job. So I don't care if the guy's a criminal. I don't care what that person is doing. We want these people to be better than the criminals. That is the whole point.
Right. Yeah, you're a cop. You're not the judge and the jury. There's a system for that.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if he's a criminal. Plus, that cop has more infractions on his police record than George Floyd has crimes committed. And that's another thing.
I know.
And when somebody tells you, what about Black on Black crime? There are statistics that you can send them about white on white crime. They act as if just answer back. Oh, what about white on white crime? 85% of murders of white people are caused by white people. That's a high ass number, motherfucker. You murder who you live next to. So that's going to happen regardless for Black people, and that's going to happen regardless for white people. So shut that down, number one. And a part of the reason, I don't know why white people are murdering white people, but a part of the reason why Black people are murdering Black people, because they have lived in economically depressed areas. They've been forced to live in economically depressed areas. They are pit against each other by a systemic racist system. that causes, a high rate of desperation and lack of money, and people do things to get that money. Plus, our
By the way,
has been flooded with drugs by you know who, one of our great presidents, to destroy so that they could get money to fund, a terrorist group in a South American country. Just look up the Iran-Contra, and then when the president brings up the incarceration rate, it's just tell them to watch the documentary, The 13th Amendment, on Netflix.
But the other thing too about that, what you're saying is, I think minorities, especially black people, you have poverty. Okay, poverty alone. Just put poverty, and that's going to cause some of these issues, because that's what happens in the poor white neighborhoods. Just look at Cops.
Yeah.
If you watch Cops, there's not a lot of black people on Cops. It's a lot of dumb white people doing dumb white people shit in those dumb white people neighborhoods, because there's poverty there.
Because they don't have
trailer parks are trailer parks and urban ghettos are the same. You know what I mean? But then in the urban ghetto, then on top of that, you have to deal with racism. But that's the reason that's the thing right there too. I mean, there's more white people on welfare than anybody, because they're the largest number in the population. There's a lot of poor white people, and I just don't know. Hopefully, they get out and vote and realize that they need to make a change. Like, I don't want to be political or anything like that, but it's like, this seems to be like a really important election, but I don't even know what's going on with that. I mean, I think even the people that were fully supportive of Trump are getting sick, and they're like, yo, dude, I'm sick, and there ain't no wall. So, like, this motherfucker ain't doing none of his promises. Like, how can you have a straight face and support, what's happening right now?
Because the right has done a wonderful job of demonizing anybody on the left. So even if somebody on the left has a great idea, they'll be like, you're the left. This is like everything from the left. There's a conspiracy for it. You know what I mean? And, they've talked about like liberals in Hollywood being child molesters. Like, nobody would ever listen to a group of people who they consider child molesters. Like, they've come up with a way to frame the left to look a certain way, so that no matter what anybody from the left says, if you're on the right and you're rooting for the right, you just dismiss what they say automatically.
Yeah. I heard Snoop Dogg say this. He said, I've never voted before, but I'm voting this time.
Can he vote?
I don't even know. Yeah, he might have a record.
Don't he got priors?
Yeah, man, this has been I don't know, dude. It's been a tough time. I know the first time we talked in the beginning of when the corona broke out, I know you were talking about being depressed, and it's like, so now we're on month 3, I think it is, right? Is it like month 3 since March?
That's longer.
Yeah, March.
Yeah,
so
okay.
March, April, May, June, and then I was starting July. Yeah, this is like, because it was half of March, and now we're almost at half of July. So yeah, it's like 3.5 months.
Right.
And,
feels like longer.
It does feel like longer. And I still don't like the uncertainty of what's happening. Like, I don't know, like, where are we? What are we doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no like game plan. I just, you turn on the TV and it's just terrible news all the time.
Yeah. I mean, that's how the news is, though. It's always terrible. It's devised on both sides, left or right, to split the country. Like, we just need somebody. Listen, man, you just need somebody with a plan. If somebody comes up with a plan and they're sincere and they're honest and people catch wind of it, like, like, I'm talking to anybody out there who's got a good ass plan. Like, it probably won't even matter who's the president, because I think the Democratic Party does not care. I think the Republican Party does not care. Like, the Democrat Party, they just pretend to care, but they have no intention of fixing things or doing the right thing. You could tell by the candidate they have served up to us, and
Yeah.
So we lose no matter who we vote for.
Yeah, I don't even know where. Like, I haven't even, like, where is he? Like,
he's been making speeches, but somebody posted something today, and he was reading it, and Biden was reading it because he knows if he goes off the cuff, he's going to say something crazy. But the way he was reading it, it was like, the worst reader in your class in school.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're just trying to they're almost, it's the best they ever read, but it's still bad compared to everybody. Like he was reading
that first class food.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what our potential Democratic candidate sounded like today.
I saw some of the results from one of those primaries from like a month or so ago, and like Bernie's still getting votes.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So I don't know how, like, if Biden was smart, he would just get all those people. He should just get like Elizabeth Warren to be his vice president, Bernie be Speaker of the House, get Buttigieg in there and have him be something. You know what I mean?
but I don't know. I just don't. I don't understand loyalty to a party.
Neither do I.
Loyalty to a party ruins everything.
Then what do you need? It's like if all you need is a cardboard cutout. Because if you have to follow the party lines, then what is the point of even doing anything?
Yeah, just vote for the person from each party that is actually a legit candidate. You don't have to, just because you're a Democrat, you don't have to vote Democrat. Just because you're a Republican, you could switch if there's an assemblyman or council person or a DA or just somebody who's seems on the up and up.
Not Kanye.
Yeah, so not Kanye. Kanye, this is not my theory, but it sounds solid. Like Kanye's just there. He's a friend of Trump, and he just might run because he hasn't filed yet. He just might run to take away votes from Biden to help Trump. Yeah. So, who's going to vote for? I'm not voting for the guy who says slavery was a choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to me, the way, if you're on the left and you don't want Trump to win, to me, the only way Trump doesn't win is if somebody on the Republican Party runs against him, or some independent, that's how Clinton won. Clinton wasn't going to win without what's his face, Ross Perot.
Right.
Without Ross Perot, Clinton loses, and he loses bad.
Right.
So same thing with this is what's that guy Mitt Romney? He should have just been he's already the one guy who stepped up and been like, I don't agree with our president. He's a Republican, so somebody like that needs to come up and be take away. All he needs to do is take away 15% of the vote.
Yeah, I would vote for Mitt Romney across the board. I would root for him to win the whole thing.
Over Trump and Biden.
I'm Biden. Yeah, he's more legit than both of them.
Yeah.
He seems more legit of a person and presidential than any one of those two guys.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just I'm just trying to not be depressed. I'm trying to just between I haven't seen my mom now in 3.5 months because I just don't want to go over there. I don't want to risk it, and then my mom.
Can you call?
Yeah, I call. I talk to her all the time. July 4th was her birthday. Yeah, but at least she understood because I think my stepdad must have told it's your birthday, but that kind of thing,
Okay.
So it's just just dealing with that. It's just, man, it's I know a lot of people out there, they probably feeling what they're feeling. You got, like I say, you have anxiety or depression, and it's listen, I know they call Dr. Phil a quack, and he's one of these people that was pushing we need to open the economy and all this stuff. Because he was saying the depression is going to be just as detrimental to society as the coronavirus itself. And I agree. But I'm not saying that we should just open everything up. But I agree that this is going to have long-lasting effects on our psyche of what is happening right now.
Suicides are up, a lot.
Yeah, divorce, suicide. There's just a lot of I know, so people that you're feeling what you're feeling out there, and I do recommend people, they have a lot of online psychology things now. Talk to someone. I think you should share how you feel, because especially the people around you, you should really try to share how you feel so they could be a source of comfort and support, and also so they don't think it's them, because that's what kind of happens, you know? It just happens where you're like around people you're close to, then you're acting a certain way, and they think, well, is that because of me? And then now but all they need to be told is like, no, I'm just feeling it because of this. And then people will commiserate, be like, oh, you know what? I'm feeling this too. Then maybe we realize we're all feeling something, and then maybe we can like help each other stay positive and move forward. But I know how hard it is out there. That's why I'm saying this right now. Right.
And watch some comedy videos and shit like that.
Yeah, man. When do you, I probably already know your answer, but like, cause I'll just say my answer. Cause I was going to say, when do you think we're going to actually be doing comedy, or when do we think comedy's going to be back to normal? And to me, the only way is like, we have to root for the doctors and scientists. I mean, it's the only way is like, it has to be gone. It has to be like where Corona is nothing. It's just like the polio or something. It's the only way. And I don't know when that's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have no answer. Half the shit we talked about, I don't have no answer.
I know.
None of it probably made any sense. I'm just, you know, I got to talk just to try to clear out the clutter in my mind and like zeroing in on the, you know, get closer to what the right thing is. So that's what this is.
I was talking to my science buddy. I had him on my podcast, my NASA guy. He's actually doing really good. He's applying to be an astronaut right now, and it's like a really tough.
Oh, he wants to get out of here, huh?
Yeah, it's a really tough process, you know. And
he's trying to leave Earth, huh?
Yeah, he's about to graduate, and actually, that SpaceX mission, he had some parts that he worked on were on that spaceship. So he's like really, you know, he's really excited. But he was telling me that, you know, like, well, how did he say it? It was something about if 65% of the population were to get the coronavirus, that's when we'll see a real downslide, because at that point, more people have gotten it. I think the herd immunity will kick in, but we're at 3% right now. So to get to 65% would take like 8 years. So it's like, are we going to live like this?
No, they'll find a virus, a vaccine for it by then. So, you know, hopefully, like, but this is not like, I just don't think this is a thing you could fix in 3.5 months.
Yeah.
You know, This is, you know, like.
Well, they keep changing. You know, it's like all of a sudden it's like, okay, what are these phases that they had? They were going to open up the economy, and now they're like, whoa, we fucked up. It's like in Florida and all these kind of places that they were just like put 2 middle fingers up. Now they're just like, okay, so now your hospitals are flooded. What are you going to do?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And then numbers are going up, but they're testing more too.
Yeah.
That's a part of it, you know? Yeah, like I watch videos or read comments from both sides, and it's like the right fucks up, the left fucks up. Both sides are politicizing things.
Right. And hate it.
And then even if something's right, if the left has a good suggestion, nobody on the right wants to hear it because they think it's a political ploy. And if somebody on the left has something that makes sense, nobody on the right wants to hear it, and vice versa. So, because why, like I was just saying before, it's like people are on teams. Fuck these teams, man. Yeah. Like, just get the best out of both. You know what I mean? Like,
I know. It's like, but you know, they like you say,
choose.
But like
you don't go to the same restaurant every day. Like if you're in Vegas, if the buffet at the Rio is good, fine. But you're not going to go there every day. You're going to try out the buffet at the Wynn. And then if you like the one at the Wynn and the one at the Rio, you're going to like today at the Wynn, they have crab. So let's go there and get the crab. And then let's go to the Rio on Wednesday because they got lobster. It's like, we got a buffet this shit. Stop sticking to some dumb team because they're both corrupt.
And it's funny. It's like, you know, like you talk about politicizing. I just thought it was so weird, like how Trump, you know, you could tell he was, you know, he was trying to get the religious crowd, the evangelists, and all these people. It was like, okay, we're gonna open up these churches, and then like that, then they traced it back to like a big outbreak is from people going to church, and so then it's like, oh, now we got to backtrack on that instead of just doing the right thing. Like the right thing would have been like, we need to close this down. You know, let's go to Zoom, guys. But it's like just the I hate that I think the president should be president for 6 years and then that's it. You know, no re-election. It's just 6 years and then you get a new guy.
Nah, bro.
Yeah, that's what I want.
No.
The re-election process is ridiculous. It takes away from, there's like a year and a half where they're not even really being the president anymore. They're just trying to get reelected.
Right, but also they're forced to do a good job in the first 4 years because they want to get reelected. So they just need that stimulation. Like, you have to do a good job, or people will be like, nah, you know. They need some incentive.
Oh, okay, maybe. But I am looking for. I didn't realize that I haven't seen one of those soccer games because I was thinking I can't wait for the NBA to come back. I doubt that the NFL is going to be able to even start and finish their season. I think that they're being ridiculous. I think these sports shows that are on every day and they keep talking about the NFL and what's going to happen. I just think that they're just doing it because they need something to talk about. But when the season comes and they're like, no, we're not going to play, because football, I don't see football working without, like, unless they film it differently, it's going to look ridiculous. Maybe
they can put the uniforms could be PPE. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever protective gear they use in the hospital, they can kind of make the uniforms like that. Change the uniforms completely. Have motherfuckers in spacesuits with Cleveland Brown on the back.
Or just like those big like sumo outfits, and they're just
yeah. Let's change the
league. But you know, it's like there's so many people on an NFL sideline. There's 53 players. You're talking about all the coaches. A lot of the coaches are old. A lot of the coaches are like 50 and up. You know, so they have to worry about their health too. It's not just like, even in the NBA. I heard this guy Rick Bucher talking about this. Mm-hmm. You know, like a lot of these NBA coaches, they're in their 70s.
Yeah.
You know, so you have to worry about more than just these like premier athletes who are getting it and they're getting over it. Like once one NBA player dies, the whole shit will shut down. But right now they're just like, it's Ezekiel Elliott. He's asymptomatic. He got it. He's like, oh, I feel this and that, and you know he's going to quarantine for 14 days and then he'll be fine. But you know, and so everyone in the see that and they go, oh well, I'm like him. You know,
the NBA has a good chance. Like NBA,
I think the NBA does. I think they have a better chance than anyone else, but it's still tough.
Yeah. They have less players in soccer, so they have a better chance of like if everybody.
Yeah, but soccer, I think soccer's fine because no two players are only you're only occasionally near another player. Like
you're being marked constantly.
I know.
And then people make walls. You're being marked constantly. But so far, the leagues are continuing. Like the German league started up and they finished their season. Mm. And, Germany's pretty disciplined. That's a good stereotype that they have. Discipline. Yeah.
Well, there's so much money in sports. There's so much money. Yeah. They're just like, but a last thing though, do you think that there is a point where people are just going to be like, hey, if you get sick, you get sick. This is our new reality.
I think people are at that point.
Coronas are part of our life. So if you get sick, fuck it, but I'm going to the beach or I'm going,
People are at that point.
Yeah.
People have been at that point for months. And that's how some people have been living since the beginning of coronavirus. And they're like, fuck it. I'd rather go back. People make choices. I'd rather go back to my regular life than be in quarantine or live a quarantine life. So yeah, people are there. They're not waiting for the government's permission.
I just wish our business was able to like start to. I guess they are. I think a lot of productions and stuff are moving forward. Like I got an audition I got to read for and stuff like that. So I don't know. We'll see. I guess things are starting to move forward. But I miss it, man. I just miss. Yeah, I miss my life. I miss the things we were doing. I miss that constant interaction in the stand-up community. I miss just all that stuff. I really do, and it depresses me.
Yeah, I don't even know if I miss it that much. I don't know. Maybe I was tired and I needed to rest. Like somebody asked me the other day, "Do you miss it?" And then I was like, shit, I've been working since I was like 17. Like, not in comedy, but just work. And that work went to school, and then school and work, and then after school, it's just comedy and regular work until I could support myself.
Yeah.
Just through comedy, and then just kept
68 years later.
79 plus 5. You know what I'm saying? So I'm in the house.
There is, there is upside. I get what you're saying too. Like I've lost weight. I'm down like 20 pounds. I got this new look. My relationship is at a really high point, and
dope.
I'm gaming now, and I'm trying to make the best of it, but just talking about it on this platform is just to say, I feel you people out there. If you're feeling depressed, I also feel depressed, but at the same time, I am finding some silver linings and things too, and so I should talk about those things too. Like I say, relationship is good. I'm healthier than I've ever been, in recent years, and so I'm trying to see when I'm trying to prepare myself so when we do come back, it's a whole new me.
Right, that's dope. And, people who need help, I hope you reach out and try to get some help.
Yes.
I don't know the places. Maybe under the in your description of the podcast, if you have some links and stuff.
Yeah, maybe I'll look for some, man. I'll look for some. There's a lot, it's just,
don't put the devil or nothing like that. Or
no, but it's just you should search for there actually are some really affordable.
Give him something to click on,
therapy things out there. I don't have no sponsors for it, but I still do it.
Yeah, give him something to click on. Yeah. Or somewhere they could go to get more information or get about places or options that they have. And like some people are going to thrive, some people are going to struggle and go up and down. Like there's moments I've had when I was like, man, like I got to get out the house, or this is not, great, but for the most part, but I think that's just how I am anyway. Luckily, I don't take that for granted that I can laugh through some like bad times for some reason.
Yeah.
So, I'm just blessed that I'm like that. I don't, just try to grow through this. And overall, I think when this whole thing is over, optimistically, I think this will just be a better country, period.
Yeah.
Because we're all going through this thing. We all have time to think, and we are reacting in a way to things that we normally didn't or wouldn't react in that way before this. And there are opposition factors, and that's fine. They're getting to emote, and there are views clashing more than ever. But we're going to need that. Not everybody's going to be on the same side, but I'm going to be positive and hope that we all figure this out. And by the end of this thing, we'll be like, shit, thank you, COVID.
Oh, yeah, I totally agree. And that's a good place to end on. It's been over an hour, and I appreciate you coming on once again. I'll reach back out again in like a month or so,
see if I'm still alive.
I know. Yeah, I got to check on you, see how you're doing. Have you actually gotten tested, by the way? Let's end on that. Did you go get just to check for yourself?
I might this week. I said it last week, but I didn't do it. I could go to Dodger Stadium.
Oh, I might go to my Next Health. I go to Next Health to do stuff, and they have I might get the what is it? What is that test? It's the antibody test. Yeah. I might go get the antibody test to see if I've had, because I kind of feel like Rachel and I both got it. I think she had it when she was in New York. We went to Fashion Week and she got really sick. Okay. And it was right before March. It was like right at the end there when people were talking about it, but nobody knew what the fuck it was. So we'll see. But anyways, this has been Ian Edwards. Like I say, my good buddy, the funny, the talented writer, comedian.
Y'all.
Just all right, good, all around good person. I got all his information down below. I'll try to find a couple of links down there too for some to get some help. And stay up, stay positive, and I'll talk to you soon, brother. And I appreciate you doing this.
Thanks, man. One love, baby.
Yeah, man.
And good shit. Thanks for hitting me up.
Yeah.